Here we go. We've got a funky video today. Yes, I could do this as a short, but honestly, I quite like talking to you all. So we're going to do this as a full-on tutorial video. We're going to, if you remember my void bases video, which I really like, I love the void bases. Void bases are fantastic. It's a great new addition to the bases for Warhammer 40,000. However, they don't do 40 mil. They don't do 40 mil bases. They don't do 50 mil bases. 50 mil is okay. Like, you can make the 50 mil bases work with the bits that you get. But 40 mil was just on that verge of cool characters don't get cool bases now. So what I thought I'd do is I'd try and use some of these Necromunda bases and get them involved and kind of linked in aesthetically with the void bases. Now, these are the void bases which we've been playing at. We've seen hopefully you've seen a kind of review of them, and also the painting guide. So this is the Calidus Assassin, and we also have me as an Inquisitor. If you haven't watched that video, make sure you go watch that video. So we got me as an Inquisitor on one of the bases as well, just kind of mocked up with some tacky putty, just holding him all in place. And I thought I would have a go at just getting some holes in these, marking them out, and therefore being able to take the grills and the grates which come with the void bases kit. Now, it's also happened upon a happy little accident, and I love happy little accidents. So what you can also do, can't quite see it here, but rather than, I'll show you this one. Rather than having it kind of up and sitting proud, what you can also do is push it down so that it's inside. There we go. This is why we're going to make another one, because this one is a little bit loose. So it's inside the base like that. So it sits flat. So it sits flat down there. And then you could, if you wanted, do a very small resin pour in there, as if and the idea is that we'll use the broken one. So the plan is to use the broken grate like that, and that will sit in the hole down there like that, and it will look as if it's been broken and also flooded. So we'll have a little bit of a resin pour coming up there, and looking really cool. So we have a spare one here. Say a spare one. We've got another one. I've got loads of these. And there's a few things that we're going to need to do. We have a number of drill bits, so we've got these drill bits, and I've also got a plethora of all awesome other drill bits as well. This one here, I thought I would try to flatten out and take out the detail, so that this could then sit like that proud on there, and then you'd also have like a little bit of depth to the base. I'm not entirely sure I like that one. I think I prefer the hole, but that one was done with a little Forstner bit, which is a wood drill actually. So that was sat in there and ground away until it had cleared all of that. However, these ones, the first one I did actually, it involved a reamer. So I drilled a hole in it, and then I forced this one through until it opened up to that. We don't need to use that now though, because I found this is from Aldi. This is a drill bit set from Aldi, and it's got a step drill in it, and also a fluted a hole enlarger. I don't know what it's called. It's called a tapered cone drill, so it's like a fluted cone drill. Anyway, step bits are fantastic for drilling through things like plasticard and things which are very thin. So thin sheet. They're fantastic for cutting through and drilling thin sheets, particularly on larger holes, because the typical kind of screw drill tends to tear sheets and thin material, and it doesn't cut very well. It's all right when kind of going up to something like, I don't know, 3 mil, 4 mil, somewhere around there. But after that, a step drill is really useful, which is what we're going to use to open this up large enough so that it can then take the fluted bit afterwards, and then the fluted bit we're going to use that to open it up. Now the first one I did do by hand, however I have got my trusty Makita in here as well, so we're going to try that. Right, so let's get involved and let's get started. We will move these out of the way. You can get these from Aldi. I don't know how much it was, about £8, something like that. That out of the way. So the plan is we're going to have to think about, and we've got 3 different holes so far. Well, actually, it's only 2 different holes. So we've got one hole that was, there we go. One hole that was based around that square. So this one here, and also this one here. They were centered around that square and opened up, as you can see. This one here was centered around this one here. So what I want to try and do with this one is I'm going to try and get it somewhere like that. Just there like that. So if I want to cover all of that, I want to try and stay away as much as I can from that little bolt. So I want to go somewhere like that, and then all we're going to do is we're going to have a look at the middle, and that's saying that I need to drill just there. So there is where I need to drill, and that's where I need to make my first hole. So we will get onto it. So we're going to drill with this one. I'm then going to open it up with the second drill bit. We'll try and get that. That's a 3mm drill bit. That should then be large enough to allow the step drill to then go in. So then I'm going to swap to the big drill, and I'm going to go all the way through to 8mm. And once it's through to 8mm, we can get the conical one in, and we will open that all the way up. Now, when we get close to the side, I'm going to swap over to this side because this is fluted like that, as is this. So I want that to match, and I want to be able to push this up from the underside because remember I want it low. So I want it low in the hole, so I can then fill it with resin as if it's flooded. So that's the plan. So I'm going to be quiet now, and we'll catch you in a second. So there we go. We drilled all that in. One tip: if you are going to try this, obviously be incredibly careful. It's a very sharp drill bit. One tip when you are doing it: spin it up before it makes contact. If I touch it and then spin it up, that's when it's going to try and pull it out of my fingers. So spin the drill bit up before you make contact, and then very, very light pressure. I was barely pushing to try and get that through. And that you can imagine how long that took by hand for the first one, because I really didn't want to use a drill for the first one just in case it did tear and rip. And anyway, so we can quickly clean this up here. I was incredibly lucky that I was bang on like the first attempt at getting it close. So yeah, absolutely very, very lucky. If I was bang on this one, then I wouldn't need to make another one. But there we are. So we'll just I've got a file. Where's my round file? There we go. Little round file here as well, just to get rid of any burrs on the inside which we don't want. So I'm angled like this so I can catch the burrs, get rid of all the burrs. Be a little bit careful on this side because this is the side that's going to push up and fit. And there we go. We got any burrs on this side? We've got one small one there. Doesn't matter how much we do this top side because this isn't going to make contact anyway. It just wants to be clean. We can tidy a little bit up of this when we glue as well. Because we can glue, and the glue will melt all that tiny little bit of burring. There we go. So now this one, which is the full one, will now push up nicely into there like that, and then you'll have the recessed grate. But I want to go one step further than this. I want to use either that broken one, which could look quite cool. Obviously get this orientated to match the lines here, so you can either orientate it, I would suggest anyway, you could either orientate it like that, so it lines up with the other lines on the base, or you could line it up 45 degrees. It's a little bit difficult to get the 45 degrees on this one. For instance, this one is quite easy because you've got these bits here which are even. It's quite easy to line that one up at 45 degrees like that. This one's a little bit more tricky because you haven't got any kind of reference points. Interestingly, it doesn't push in from the top, so that's absolutely perfect. There we go, perfectly drilled out for the bottom. So it's either 45 degrees there, or we can straighten it up. Now, interestingly, how this bit here is placed, the damaged bit, is probably going to be determined by, we'll just use Mr. Grey Knight here, it's probably going to be determined by what model goes on here, because if we put him there like that, he's going to need something there, and then that front bit would make quite a nice little accent, if you like, to how he's standing. Alternatively, if you have something that is more flat-footed, haven't got anything handy. Oh, I haven't got Azrael. There we go. If you've got something a little bit more flat-footed, you could have that overhanging the plate, the grid, the grate, if you like. Although, like, if you're going to flood it, like, make a point of it and have it on show. Now, the plan was that I wanted to use these two bits, and these two bits, when they do go in the hole, they do match up beautifully. So they are from the same kit. However, will they go in to the underside of the hole? In fact, let's do... There's another one of my little servo skulls. Quick sneak peek there for you for one of the servo skulls. So if we put those two together, just blow that bit out of the inside. That's still there, never mind. Put those together and then push that on top of it. Put those two together like that. Push this on top. Is that going to pick it up? No. Try again. Live recording. So this is going to look really cool though. So because it's broken as well, I can kind of push certain bits up. So I want it, because it's broken, I want the bits in the middle to be facing up a little bit more. This is going to have to be glued to hold. There we go. Something like that anyway. So that doesn't quite hold in itself. Doesn't quite hold in itself, but you get the idea from the full one, the full grate there like that. So you have that recess, and then because this one's broken, I want to have like one of the bits broken for like leaning down, and then the recess can be pulled right back so it's sitting flush to the base. And then we can do the resin pour through there. And what I think I'm going to do is, when I do the resin pour, I'm going to put this flat on a piece of greaseproof paper, and then the resin, I'll just use some UV resin, and then I'll pour some resin in there, and it shouldn't stick to the greaseproof paper, and then I should be able to peel that off, and then I will have a clear resin under there, and then we can paint the underside of the resin whatever kind of colour I want the water to be, the flooded water. So I think that's really cool, and I also think it's a really nice way of integrating these Necromunda bases into the Void War bases, the Boarding Actions Void War bases. Now I know there are some Sector Mechanicus bases as well, so I'm tempted to get hold of some of those, because they do, I think they do 50mm. I know they do 40mm. The 50mm bases, I'm not too worried, because I mean, I know this is 60mm, but I'm not too worried because the 50mm bases for instance, my Ophidian Destroyers for my Necrons, I can add some of these bits which come as additions. I can add those all over, and then kind of have them around the grate, so that will be absolutely fine. But the 40s, I just think the 40s are going to be too plentiful to make look. I was going to say unique, but like these ones are all the same because they're all the same base originally. But yeah, the 50s is just going to be less of them. I think the 40s are going to be a little bit more plentiful because we can have characters on there. We can obviously have like things like aggressors if you're running Space Marines, Grey Knights. You can have the Terminators on them. There's loads of Necrons. Actually, there's no Necrons because all the Necrons that I'm using have the 50mm. Yeah. Anyway, there we go. So that is a very, very quick. Never quick, is it, my videos? But a very, very quick little video on how I'm going to do these little Necromunda bases and make use of the grates from 4 bases. There we go. I think that's going to look great. I'm going to do a resin pour right now, and obviously they will be painted up to match these as well. What colour water? That's the interesting bit. What colour water are we going to put in there? It screams green. Like automatically, as soon as you have like a sewage, you automatically go to like Ace Chemicals, and have like green sewage in there. So maybe green. It would contrast and complement the rusty orange of the bases straight away. So maybe green. What do you think? Leave a comment in the comments below. And as always, please like and subscribe. If you could hit that subscribe button, that would be amazing, because then we will be one more subscriber closer to 1 million subscribers, which would be great, because then YouTube send me a lovely gold play button, which would be cool, and then I can put that up behind me here. 1 million. Yeah, we're only 998,000 away, something like that. Anyway, yes, thank you very much. Hit like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next video. And yeah, maybe it will be a resin pour video for when I get that one all glued in. Take care, everybody. Thank you very much, and happy fucking Easter. You're all bosses. You're amazing. Thanks very much, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.